For centuries, humans have told stories about terrifying beasts in the sea, not because we knew them, but because we didn't. The unknown made us imagine monsters, and without science or cameras, those stories spread like wildfire. But today, with deep sea exploration and science, we can trace those legends back to something real. In this video, we're diving into 7 of the most legendary sea creatures in history, and showing how they may have been inspired by real animals that are just as mysterious and powerful. Let's separate the myth from the monster. Mermaids. Beautiful half-human, half-fish beings that lure sailors to their doom. For centuries, they've appeared in every culture's oceans. But when European sailors crossed the Atlantic, they started writing detailed logs about seeing mermaids. What were they really seeing? Manatees. Yes, gentle, slow-moving sea cows. To us, they don't look anything like a mermaid. But after months at sea, in poor lighting, from a distance, their curved tails, human-like eyes, and soft gestures may have looked almost magical. Combine that with sailor myths and loneliness, and the legend of the mermaid was born. Sea serpents. Long, scaly creatures that slithered through the waves. Even respected naval officers reported seeing them. But in 1772, a real body washed ashore in Norway. And later, scientists identified it. The oarfish. It can grow up to 36 feet long, with a silver, snake-like body and a red, crown-like crest on its head. It lives deep in the ocean, rarely surfacing, except when sick or dying. These rare encounters likely gave birth to the myth of the sea serpent. But what's real is even more stunning. The Kraken, the ultimate sea monster. With tentacles the size of trees and a hunger for ships, it haunted Viking tales for generations. But then came photographic proof, the giant squid. Real, massive, elusive. It can grow over 40 feet long, has huge eyes, powerful tentacles, and a razor-sharp beak that can shred prey. We now know they live in the deep ocean and only rise to the surface when dying or in distress. The Kraken may be a myth, but the giant squid is as real as it gets. The Leviathan, a biblical beast said to rule the seas, was described as a massive sea dragon capable of swallowing ships. In real life, we have the sperm whale, the largest predator on Earth, known to dive deeper than any other mammal. But what's even more fascinating is their enemy, the giant squid. Scars from squid tentacles have been found on sperm whales, proving battles happen deep in the dark ocean. The Leviathan legend may have started from these massive, unseen clashes. Some myths are born from fear, others from memory. The megalodon was real, a prehistoric shark, possibly 3 times bigger than the great white shark. Fossils show it had teeth the size of human hands. It's extinct now, probably, but rare sightings of massive sharks, missing boat chunks, and sonar blips keep the legend alive. Is it a myth that Megalodon still exists, or are we just not looking deep enough? Sirens. Not quite mermaids. More dangerous, more mysterious. They didn't lure with beauty, but with song. Ancient Greek mythology described them as half-bird, half-woman creatures who sang hypnotic melodies that made sailors steer their ships into rocks. But here's what's fascinating. Sirens may have been inspired by a mix of real phenomena. First, the frigate bird, a large seabird with wide wings and a red throat pouch. From a distance, especially on stormy days, their eerie calls and gliding silhouettes could look otherworldly. Combine that with the sound of wind through sea caves, hallucinations from dehydration, and the grief sailors felt from losing crewmen at sea. And the mind starts creating reasons. Imagine being stuck at sea, hearing strange echoes across the waves, and then spotting a creature flying in the mist, making haunting sounds. It wasn't just fear, it was grief and guilt, disguised as myth. Sirens weren't monsters, they were the sailor's sorrow, given a voice. One of the most bizarre sea myths comes from medieval Europe, the sea bishop. Described as a creature with a fish's body, but a human-like torso and head shaped like a bishop's mitre, it was said to be caught by fishermen and taken to a king, only to make religious gestures, beg for freedom, and be released back into the sea. Strange, right? But let's look at the facts. Many believe the legend came from sightings of deep-sea creatures like the angel shark, squatina, or even the monkfish, both of which have flat, wide heads, human-like eye placement, and wing-like fins that, at a glance, resemble robes. Add to that the distorted descriptions of the time — remember, most people never saw sea animals — and the desire to assign spiritual meaning to strange events, and you get the sea bishop. It wasn't divine. It was just a deep-sea creature, misunderstood and mythologized. What we've discovered is that the line between myth and reality is thinner than we thought. The ocean hides more than it reveals, and while some legends were exaggerations, many were based on real creatures, misunderstood by time, distorted by fear. The kraken, the mermaid, the serpent, the leviathan. They may not be magic, but they're still monsters in their own right. If you enjoyed diving into these mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. It genuinely helps me grow this channel and make even more content for curious minds like yours. Until next time, stay curious and beware of what swims just below the surface.